So, welcome back to part 2 of how to start an abstract set of 2 paintings with your collage scraps. And as you can see, I'm showing you where I left off last week with a little spritz of isopropyl alcohol, 70%. So it softens the layer of paint so I can scratch through with my awl or even use some steel wool to reveal the layers underneath. So this week we're going to continue and watch how I use the negative space to put in collage and paint layers, and then shapes intuitively evolve. So welcome to my channel if you are first here, and I hope you caught last week's video. It will be a card in this video, and let's get on with it. I am having so much fun with this set, and one of the big reasons is that it's a pair of older canvases, just the inexpensive ones, and then I feel more free to explore. As you get better with this, transferring your intuitive approach from your art journaling to your canvas, it's just going to get better. And I have found that. And I just pretend that I'm working on an art journaling page. And if I get stuck and start overthinking, I step away and then come back again. So as you can see, these pieces of blue, which I keep finding new collage that I love, so I need to make more. They're newsprint, created just solid colors spread on the jelly plate printer using the light blue. And of course, the colors will be listed in the comment section below. And the same colors on that piece of collage by dashes. Those are the multi-layered collages that you can start learning how to make when you sign up for my 5-day free course, Intuitive Layers. And it's fantastic. I've had so many people come through with that course, and it just sets you up in a great intuitive layering process mindset, letting go, being free, and discovering your true voice with mark making. So, and we're using mark making, pattern, colors, shapes with your collage making, and then of course we use those in our art. So as you can see, I'm just having fun. You could say it's random pieces, but at this point, the process does slow down just a little bit, and I'm being careful not to slow down too much, because then that means I'm overthinking. So that's why when you do set a timer or practice with your art journaling pages, using a timer of 10, 20, I wouldn't go any longer than 30 minutes. It really keeps you in flow, and I do have some videos with that. So that's the Catalyst Wedge. I find it's a great tool to remove bubbles. And so far I don't have a lot of bubbles, but I don't know if I show you in this video how I do it. Get rid of it. You razor blade through a section, using an X-Acto knife, lifting that up again, using a brush to insert the medium, and then flattening it out, and voila, your bubbles are gone. And yes, I use a combination of, since I'm using thicker paper, I will use the heavy gloss medium for this. And you see the orange and yellow down there, that stripe. It's just too brass for me. So my intention, as I mentioned last week, was to create a mostly blue, all over, rectilinear, who knows what the composition will end up as, but that's mostly blue with accents of neutral and yellows, maybe a little oranges and some pinks. And you can see last week's lines and textures. Yes, they are getting covered up, Not all of them. And that's why it's so fun to let go and have a blast in your early layers, because you just know that, if you don't, you'll learn that those layers just get covered up. And then make sure to keep your notes on anything pertinent that you want to remember for next time, because I will keep this process going. This is my larger work process, and I do practice, and I have a particular art journal for this. And if you're not on my newsletter, I've got a lot of great information that I send out twice a month. So if you're not, check out the link in the on my profile page of my YouTube channel, and all the links are there. I'm really loving the combination of that neutral with the light blue. It is so cool, and I think I love it so much. That's sort of the predominant color combination that I want to use, along with maps. I have found some amazing old encyclopedias in my used bookstore, especially those pages that are folded inside, and you unfold them, and it's that very interesting paper that's translucent. It's almost like vellum. So as you can see, I've sped up the video so you can see my entire process for this second layer or second session. So much fun. Now, since I tend to go around the edges, I'm noticing that I end up with a middle section that can be rather annoying. I don't know if maybe annoying is too strong of a word, but challenging. But I don't worry about it, because I know either I can paint it out, match the value with another area, or do something completely different. And as you can see, I call this intuitive placement, where I grab pieces of collage and I just see where I'm letting the painting say, oh yeah, I fit right here. And I call it like puzzle work. And it is so fun. What do you think? Do you like this? Have you done this process? This is sort of a variation of my intuitive art journaling, which isn't journaling. I just call it the intuitive art process. Now, the row of circles at the bottom is also too strong, so I will do something with that later. And that black and white piece, that is sort of organic plants. That is another stencil, girl stencil. A lot of you ask me. Now, I just ordered, I think at least 12 or so different stencils from Temu. I'm hopefully thinking they're ethically created. I know that you have to think about these things, but they're super, so I can't wait to try those out. And notice that I just said this collage is made from the same colors, and that's where you're using the same colors on the canvas, different combinations, with black and white, so it's all cohesive, and that's why it fits together so well. Now, this is an odd one, that blue and white, and that's why I thought, well, I'll try it, but it's not going in there. It's a Payne's Gray, and Payne's Gray has a lot of red in it, where this has more turquoise, teals, and that seems to work. A little piece of map, and that is just directly painted. And here it's that middle, see that great big square that the negative space is? So I'm thinking, okay, what's the best way to start breaking that up? And that's going through my mind, of course, knowing that I'm recording this. And I thought, you know what? Yeah, you can watch that. Oh yeah, I love that one. That would have been great, but there's too many circles in it. And then I end up, okay, this also creates a challenge where it's right smack dab in the middle. But at least I made a decision, I put it down, and then I can deal with it later. And that's the approach you need to have. The middle area may resolve on its own, so I will deal with it later. So what I do is I step back, not when I'm in flow, when I'm finished, I go, okay, where's my eye going? Where is it stopping and staying? Because I don't want that. And I just continue with grabbing a pile at the side, as you could see on the left. And those baskets that you can see in the upper left-hand corner, that's where I stack all my, I have black and white, neutral, blue. I categorize all of my collage papers. That's just my current way of organizing them. Okay, so I chose a very translucent piece, and if you're ever not sure, that's a good way to do it. And then I thought, okay, let's take a break from the collage pieces. Let's add some line. Of course, I didn't wait for it to dry, so it tore through, because that was a delicate piece of probably tissue paper that was painted. I don't think it was the deli wrap, because it wouldn't have broke or ripped so easily. So I'm using newsprint to lift excess paint. As you can see, it's very thick. Sometimes a color shaper can put it on very thickly. And I'm showing you that before I started this section, I coated the entire piece, both pieces, with the thinner gloss medium, so that the layers would lay on top, and it makes them easier to wipe, glide across, add other layers without them soaking in. They're still on top. So this all over composition is evolving, but it may not necessarily stay this way. We'll see what happens. So I'm noticing across the way that I love that lighter blue. So then I continue it. And what's on my mind lately is I don't want the rectangle areas perfect. But for this one, I don't want them really messy either, as if you're going to glide across with a brayer, that edge, those patterns that it can make. But I want to work towards that area. And as you can see here, once I've lightened it up, it's so much better, and the eye just follows down because the value is matching, not the color, but the value is matching where those three circles are in the neutral. And these two, the blue and the neutral, is sort of the main idea that I'm going for. And when I start filling in areas, this is when shapes start to evolve intuitively. And that's what I mean. So I go back and forth, and I notice it's sort of things that catch your eye on the peripheral. I'm sort of learning that, and also the feeling, of course, intuitively. See, I'm matching that value, needs to extend. And while that's happening, it's also calming down. I have, you don't see my palette when I'm working on my larger table, like my art journaling table. So I might make changes. See, but I'm right-handed, so I like it on the right. But I show you the palette in the end, which is very simple. Light blue, yellow oxide, neutral, white, and I'm not even using black at this point. I'm using the some darker blues. And you see how I filled up that little gap? And it just helped it so much, calming it down. And the blues are subtle. I don't know if you can see it on the video, but I show you some close-ups in the end. So too much light blue there, too much of the same, so I'm coming in with darker because that negative shape is really cool, and I don't want to get rid of that. I'm really liking that curve. So I'm thinking I need some more curves that emulate the circle. So now, yeah, so this, like I said earlier, it begins to slow down the process, but still trying to not overthink. So here we have a diagonal evolving. And next to that black and white, those black and white vertical stripes. So I don't know if they'll stay either. So I thought, okay, so let's start breaking up this space with some blue shapes. Bringing the eye down again with that light blue. And I love this, sort of like a patina. And this is where all your different blues start happening. They're so subtle, but oh, they add such a beautiful interest. I don't know what it is about blue, but I just love it. See, so I put a little bit of that patina up there. And I'm sort of, thinking in threes, odd numbers, and in different amounts, different ratios, and also different directions, horizontal and vertical. So I'm noticing the patina really look better than just the straight. And I kept, see that line, those lines that I made that happen. Of course, that blue paint is from that piece of collage, so it's extending. Good, because that yellow oxide up there is too much. I want my ratio to be more blue than yellows, more cool than warm. I'm loving that black and white, those little dots. They're way back in the early layers, but I want to maintain them somehow. And now that I've closed those three circles in, now they're predominant. So I will be doing something with those. I don't know yet. I might cover that whole thing with blue and you'll just see the outline. So here comes some yellow. I guess I'm balancing this off. This is yellow oxide and the neutral. And I call it adding a warm layer. But very light. And that's what happens. Oh, look at that. Lifted it right off. So loading your color shaper is important in controlling the thickness of your layer that you want to put without having to wipe edges. So notice the values are pretty close, but the colors are different. And then I will definitely use my rag here and just fix that edge. Perfect. And I'm loving the different blues that are happening, and of course scoring through with my all is a favorite of mine. And I could have also did some lifting there and then monoprinted that same rectangle in another area or over a similar area, maybe the map diagonally on the lower left, the middle left. So I think I might do that. Coming in with some small shapes. And they may shrink, these shapes. They may even disappear. Making some more decisions. So I'm just experimenting here. There's this really cool diagonal line happening between two blue values. And I thought, well, let's go with it. But now you see how I fixed the edge, but I don't know if I want to keep that. Now it really stands out. So we will fix that, probably with some blue collage over that area or over the entire row of circles. Don't know yet. I think I would like paint, because then you can still see the collage underneath, and it has this sort of history building. So I hope you are enjoying my two paintings here. These are just explorative, and I hope you go ahead and give it a try, taking your intuitive art journaling practice and extending that to some larger canvas. And in the end, I'm finding what I want to do, which will include sanding and using a harder surface. So I will be experimenting with some wood panels. I have a whole slew of them in my studio just waiting for me to start. So stay tuned. Do you like working on canvas, a springy surface, or wood panels, a hard surface? I would love to know. So that yellow that I just added beside the 3 circles on the painting on the left, I would definitely lighten that up closer to the neutral that's there and see what happens. I'm not sure. So you see how it's making the eye sort of go around and finding its way. But this is still the early stages. So we're going to be, in a minute or so, coming to the end of this particular phase. Still the early stage, but it's at least, 3, 4, 5 layers. And my next approach will be using my new stencils. And this is where I will use overlapping. And watch what happens. You will love it. So I've slowed right down, scoring through. Because of the thickness, I'm not liking that. I like to reveal previous layers. Okay, I'm loving what's happening with the blue. We're going to zoom in here a little bit just so you can take a closer look. And don't forget to sign up and try my 5-day free course, which will give you lots of practice so you can be ready for my big course that's going to come out very soon. And here I just did a quick little video of how we left it. I slowed it down. This is the first time I've used slow motion, so it's a little glitchy, but you get to see all these subtleties. Wow, I do too. I'm loving the line. So it's really a building and excavating, building and veiling, back and forth process. And as you can see, I thought I'd show you, this is where I plan to put a piece of collage. I don't know if I want to go all the way up to block the eye to go through. This is my palette for this layer. Yellow oxide, light blue, white. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.